Action.
Oh, okay.
So here we are with local tours for the podcast, and this week we are looking at Scandinavia. We're looking at Finland in particular, and we've got a local expert, shall I say, avid traveler and huge foodie, and all-round generally really nice person, Sofia Savitski. Thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you that I could actually join the call. That was a really big honor from me.
Good. So, right, it's really all about sort of bringing that local travel experience to everybody, especially now when we're maybe not as free to move around. So getting that perspective from a local, especially someone who's been in hospitality for a decade that has that special eye, it would be good to get your perspective. So where do you want to start? I know that you've had quite a lot of time spent in Lapland, in Helsinki. So wherever you want to start, it'll be great to get your perspective.
Yeah, it's actually in a good memory since this year has been traveling mostly around Finland. So this year, as you mentioned, I love to travel, and usually I go somewhere like out of the Finland just for the summer holidays to see something different. But this year it's been like a lot in the books and everywhere that you should travel inside the country, and there's plenty of things to see in Finland. So this year, as you said, I was in Lapland for a 1 week ski vacation. It wasn't the ski season yet, but there were already some of the slopes were ready for the skiing. And for the summer, I did a road trip. I think that was the case this year for a lot of people to do the road trips inside the country. And in Finland, we decided this time to see the East Coast. I've been there quite some time before. It's really beautiful, and it was a warm summer. So, yeah.
Oh, so actually tell me more about how the area is broken down in that case. Because, well, especially in the UK, it's a tiny country compared to others. So it'd be good to get an understanding of how the areas are broken down, and what type of travelers go to what area, just so people get a good understanding of what to look for and maybe where to go depending on what they want to do.
I'm thinking like I would share Finland with the Lapland, like central Finland, which is a Lake Finland area. The Finland is said to be like a country of 1,000 lakes, and the most of them are in the central Finland. If you look at the map, it's just like blue everywhere, like a lot of like rivers and lakes and everything. And then there's an archipelago and the eastern part, which is it's in the east. And then there's Helsinki area, which is like the capital area. There's a lot of places also close by to go. We can go like further when we talk about the kind of day trips. Those are really, really close to Helsinki and not located too far away. So I would like share Finland to those 4 parts. Myself.
And so in Lapland in particular, if people just want to go there, I know people might think or have an idea of what it's like, but tell us more about, how was your trip most recently? What did you do?
Yeah, I would say like originally, of course, everybody thinks of Lapland as a winter destinations with everything what is done there for the winter time. But I would say like there's plenty of things to do in the other seasons as well. I've been there in the summertime, and most recently I was there for the autumn. I would say the best thing in Lapland is the nature, that you don't actually have to have any plans. You can just go outside and it's still like really different, and the air is really pure and clean. But there's also a lot of activities for those who want to have the activities. So last time I was staying there, we went for the horse riding, which I really like to do myself. And in the autumn, they say ruska. It's the time in the autumn when everything is really colorful, when the leaves are really, really like, getting their best. And especially in the Lapland, it's a really amazing time. We went to see the huskies. That's a really basic thing to do in Lapland.
Oh my God. Do you actually get to, like, with the sleigh and everything, and they pull you?
It's more in the winter time, but they also offer if you really want to go with them, they have this kind of like a car to have the dogs with. And the thing is, like, the dog really, they need this activity. They really like to run. They really like to be active, and they're friendly. And there was a lot of them there.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it was like super nice experience. And as a foodie, there was like elk farm or reindeer farm visited to prepare some reindeer meat in the evening. So that was really special that we actually went to the farm and, get the goods straight from the provider.
So are all these things and activities and places to eat, is it something you have to book quite in advance, or can you sort of go there not having planned very much and just take it as it comes and it's easy to do when you're there?
I would say there's a lot of providers on the area. They're competing towards each other, of course. A lot of the hotels are providing their own activities. And that's the thing, like usually when you stay at the property, I would just suggest to use the same kind of services from the same place. It's much easier, and they're usually like more, attached to the details at that point when you're having the same. And of course, this year is different. You don't have to book that much in advance when you're doing something, but it's also good to call like the properties or those activity providers to check if they're open. But in a normal situation, they're really popular. And that's why there has been a lot of investments in the huskies and all the activities, because it was growing year after year. So I would suggest you to book your stays and restaurant visits.
Okay. You said, yeah, I could imagine. So you said there's a lot with nature. Is there a lot in terms of, big trails or hiking where you can get some good views? Are there any like specific ones that people should look out for?
Yes, there's a lot of them, and especially this year, even for Finnish people, they love hiking, they love their trailing. There's been a lot of properties which are close to the hiking places. They're actually doing quite well and the ones to mention, I've actually visited a couple of them while I was in Lapland, now in the autumn time. One of them was the Riisitunturi. It's like the rice hill. That's the name of it if you just translate it completely there. And the other one is Karhunkierras, which is a bear's kind of walk or bear's trail. And there's a smaller one and there's a longer one. The longer one is, I think it's around 90 something kilometers, if I remember correctly. And that takes 3 to 5 days, depending on how fast you are.
Oh my
gosh, the one we did, that wasn't that hardcore. That was 13 kilometers. And it was a lot of uphill and downhill on the way. So it gets you a good kind of fitness journey as well. There's quite a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yes. And those kind of what are those bridges which are up from the, what is the name of those bridges? Up from the water, the long ones.
Oh, suspension bridges.
Yeah, suspension bridges. A lot of them. And
okay. Oh, right. Okay. So
yes, and then you can just do some sausage or something on the way. There's a picnic spots. And I even actually went for a swim. It was quite cold. No. But there was a cottage close by, which we just lighted up with the fire just to get some warmth. And I was like, I really want to take a dip. And, I just went to the water.
It's an experience.
It was super nice. When you're there, just do it. It's once in a lifetime thing. And you get to the warmth for a while after that.
So basically,
and you feel really refreshed after.
There we go.
Yeah. It's super nice.
What sort of foods do they have along those trails, or what should we, or anybody that's going, what should they look for and maybe avoid if it's a bit of a tourist trap, or what would you suggest for food and drink?
There's no restaurants on the way. You just have to bring your own food and actually prepare it there. Just a moment. Yeah, you actually have to prepare it yourself on those places. So I would say just take some sausage, some breads, coffee, cacao, whatever you like, but the sausages are the thing.
Okay, so pre-packed. So do the hotels actually provide any of those type of goods that you can take with you, or is it you need to go and source it in a store first?
I think actually hotels are also doing a lot of tours when they're coming with you, and then they have everything prepared. Nice. I think in the winter time I had some kind of a jet ski or snowmobile experience when they had everything prepared. So we actually stopped with the snowmobiles and had some kind of a picnic, and after that just went forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So is there anything else you'd recommend for Lapland, or shall we move on to Helsinki?
No, there's something on the way, on the trail, the Karhunkierras, which I mentioned. There's this kind of a bird, very specific for Lapland, which name is kuukkeli. That's the name of the bird. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, they're really keen on that. They know that there's a lot of tourists and they're actually feeding them. So when you're on your picnic, you can actually put your hand up and it will come on your hand and grab the kind of a bite or the bread. So that was super amazing because I didn't know that. And at some point I was like, hey, birdie bird. And it actually came there. And I was like, wow, okay, that's actually
well trained
just now. Yeah. So That's amazing.
What do they look like? Are they really small, or are they do they flock?
They're like, medium size, and they'll have like a really nice colored hair, and they're like, puffy, like those
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, cool.
small, cute birds. Yeah. Yeah.
So how far is it from Helsinki if you're, flying in there and then having to travel?
Lapland is quite a big area. I would start like, there's Lappish people who say it doesn't start from Rovaniemi, which is like the Santa Claus city, because it's like, it's not still Lapland for them. You have to go like more north to have the real Lapland. But that's kind of like, yeah, it's an argument which has been there for a long time.
Oh, I wasn't aware of this.
Depending on who you ask, they will tell you what is Lapland and which is not. For me, more it's like from the Rovaniemi up. That would be Lapland. And to Rovaniemi from Helsinki, it will take, I would say by car, it's like 9-ish hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it only by car? Or do people take trains?
Yeah. The train goes actually, wait, I won't say because I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a train, like the night train to Rovaniemi, when you like sit there in the evening and you'll be there in the morning. Yeah, that one is like existing, but the easiest way is to fly.
Okay.
Yeah,
especially these days, it's probably the safest as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, usually because the prices are quite high to Rovaniemi, like in the accommodation, just in a normal time, some people are doing that. They're flying to Oulu, which is a close by big city, and they're actually taking a car or renting a car to go for a day trip to Rovaniemi to see Santa Claus and do all the activities, because otherwise it will be too expensive. Yeah. So that's something which like local people are doing as well, from Oulu just to go for the visits, because they can't afford it in the normal time.
Okay, well, that's a good tip. So that's good to know. Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, so then Helsinki, so you're quite familiar with that city. So tell us more about what your favorite things to do are. If you had, I haven't been before, so if you were to take me around for one day, what would you show me?
Yeah. It depends a lot on which season you're coming. I would say the best season to come is summer. There has been so many growth, they have so many festivals, so many cool restaurants, concepts in the summertime. It's been like really going forward previous years, like the years before that. But I would most definitely take you to see sauna. That's a really traditional Finnish thing. And there's few options in Helsinki to do that. It's Alasiipuu or Löyly. Alasiipuu is like just in the city, like the most center of the Helsinki, really close to Tuomiokirkko, which is like the big white church you see in all the pictures about Helsinki. That's like the Alasiipuu. It's a public swimming pool, and there's also saunas. But I prefer myself Löyly. It's like more of a trendy place. It's much smaller, but they also have this kind of a sauna, which is a smoke sauna. There's like actual smoke coming, so it's not steam, it's like smoke sauna.
What?
Yeah,
okay, that's a thing.
It's like really traditional Finnish thing. It's really hot. It really gets so hot there that I can't sit there, because like I'm a sauna person, but I'm more like, I like the idea of sauna, not actually being there for too long. So I'm the person who actually goes away from the sauna the first of my friends. But the experience itself, it's really good. The sauna or the Löyly, it's a full experience. You have the sauna there, you have the restaurant, and in the evenings it's also a kind of a bar. So you have everything in the same package.
Oh, so is this like a whole day or a whole afternoon that you take to do it? Okay, right.
Yes, we've done it a lot with my friends, that we actually go for sauna, have a couple of drinks, have the dinner, and just stay there like for a longer time. It's like one of my favorite things myself to do, and I'm like living in here. And I still like to go there time to time.
So would you call that, is that like your version of a spa getaway, or is it a totally different thing?
It's more like a day thing. It's not like a getaway. It's just like for the weekend thing.
Rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation, that is a good word for that. Yeah.
So what about the other seasons? Do you get all 4 seasons, or what's it like outside of summer?
Yes, we have all the seasons. They're like really like strict when it's ending, when it's starting. Not that much in Helsinki, but like in Finland in whole. And as I mentioned, it's really seasonal place, and it has like own specific areas which are the most popular in each season. For the summertime, as you know, we have the midnight sun. That means that it doesn't get dark at all. and
Yeah,
that's
I would love that.
extremely nice. And especially also in the Lapland, because it's actually longer there. It like takes a longer time that it's not getting any. I remember when I stayed in one of the Igloo hotels in the summertime,
Yeah.
and that's, yeah, it was like still, you know, it was like a day the whole time I stayed there. Even I tried to sleep, I was like, is it like a night or day? It didn't get like at all dark, like
So do
anywhere.
you actually well, for people that are sensitive to light to sleep, you probably need some sort of
You
mask
have the
to help.
shades. They actually give
Yeah.
you the mask in the
Oh my
hotel to
God.
stay there. So I had the shades on, I had the mask on, and I was still like, is it a day or a night? It was really hard to understand, because it's also here in Helsinki, but it's much longer in Lapland, and I think it's much later there as well. But it's really magical, like when you feel it, like for the whole night.
Are there a lot of the igloo hotels? Because I've seen some of the ice hotels. We have them in Canada as
Yeah.
well, not all year round. But is it? I've never actually been inside them. So is it a worthwhile experience in your opinion to go for?
I think it is. There've been a lot of them, and a lot of properties are like building more of them because they're really popular. I think 4 years ago it was the most Googled word about Finland. I think I was on one of those Visit Finland seminars, and they mentioned that the visit, like the igloos, are really popular words besides the sauna and the salmiakki and those kind of like classical things about Finland.
So what about the flip side with the really long nights? How does that work? Or if do you guys get the northern lights at a certain time of year? Where would you go for that?
The Northern Lights is like the next thing which people are really interested in, and you have to be like lucky to get them, because it can be promised. It's something which you can see or you may not see, and there's a lot of like those Northern Lights hunting tours as well. And I know they're like popular among tourists, but the thing is, like, if I would myself, I wouldn't maybe take a tour. I would go to some place which is dark myself, just to check which are the places usually to check the kind of the Northern Lights. And if you are renting a car, just go there by yourself. There's no need to actually have the tour for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something,
cost.
as you mentioned, the tourist trap. I think that is some kind of like a slave trap.
What other traps should people be looking out for? So that's one of them. Are there any others?
Yeah, that's something which came to my mind. Like, you know, it's Finnish people, they're quite genuine. You know, there's not that many tourist traps. For like, actually, because the people are like nice and they're trying to provide the services which are worthy the money. There are not that many tourist traps. Of course, in Lapland, when you go for the husky places or those kind of course, the prices are slightly higher, but you know that, and it's an experience you want to pay for. It's not kind of a trap, but it's something, everything touristic will cost you money, but it's something to, you know, experience as well.
Yeah, it's fair. Oh, well, that's actually good. Sometimes it's you get a sort of negative feeling when you feel that you've fallen for something that you shouldn't. So that's actually reassuring. What about any stereotypes? So up front, that's one. Are there any others? Or in terms of culture that people should be aware of that you might not think of unless you're a local?
Finnish people are quite polite and shy in a way. Finnish people are said to be really shy. Of course, not everybody, that is like kind of a stereotype that they're quiet, but they're like, yeah. And the other thing, we're always compared with the Swedes, and we're always competing with the Swedes. That's the thing, like you don't have to be better, you just have to be better than the Swedish people. That's the thing in Finnish culture. It's always about winning them.
Okay. Yeah. So not just in football or soccer, it's just in everything.
Yeah, it is really important. Yeah, the one
what
thing.
What do you guys do better?
I'm trying to think. I think we won the ice hockey tournament, as you mentioned, for 1 year, and we still remember it was really big day for us. You know, when we had the 6-0, it was really a big thing. It was such a big party everywhere here, and then people say that they go torille, so they go on the kind of in the big area. It's like close to the market square. That's the place where people meet when Finland like wins, or Finland is mentioned somewhere in a big kind of publicly or somewhere. We said like we have to go torille, so we have to go to this kind of market square to party.
Okay.
Yeah, and people were like, you know, taking baths in this statue place, and you know, partying a lot. And yeah.
Is it a big? Is it big for the sort of going out side of things and the drinking culture? How does it compare to, well, tell me what it's like so people understand.
Finnish people are big drinkers, I must say. And, as I mentioned, people are shy, especially men. So when you want the Finnish men to actually start talking, you should give him a beer. Yeah, that's the real,
That's funny. Is it, how do they, so are the beers, is it like pints? Are you guys big lager drinkers, or what kind of drinks normally?
I'm trying to think which would be like a really Finnish thing. It's gonna be a Lapinkulta or Karhu. That's like the beer. Karhu is the bear. Maybe you've heard about it. And of course, you must heard about the gin long drink.
Oh yeah, the gin.
Yeah, that's really well promoted. Yeah, and they have the greyest day in the, the happiest country, and we have the greyest day. And then we drink long drink. That's the thing. And of course, we had this gin long drink. Have you heard about it? Napue long drink. It's like a gin tonic made with the world's best gin. And it's infused with, lingonberries, and there is rosemary. That's a really,
nice.
really, really good drink. If you go to Finland, I've heard that everybody wants to try that one. And in the airport, that's one of the most sold kind of gins or the drinks from the airport.
So that's the one to bring a bottle back with.
Yes,
with
that is exactly that bottle you should bring from here.
Yeah. What else? So on the things to bring back, what sort of? I'm sure you do this. We've talked about it before. Anywhere you visit, it's always about the food, especially the snacks.
Yes.
So are there any you recommend? Because I managed to find a few random ones. So it'd be good to try them, see if you approve. But what would you recommend in general for people to look out for?
I would say the Fazer chocolate, because I love chocolate myself, and I've tasted a lot of them, and nothing compared to the Fazer, the normal blue, Fazer blue. And actually the color is patented. The color the Fazer uses, nobody can use the same color. It's the color of the blue color of the Fazer.
Ah, interesting.
It's so good. It's a chocolate which if you ever find it in Britain, just taste it.
That one, I'm gonna look for it, because I managed to get this one.
Yeah.
Of the chocolates was this one. Now let's see. Is the one that you mentioned, how do you say it again?
Fazer. I think it's the same company which actually made Stupla as well. Okay. But the Fazer, the basic classic one, is just like a pure chocolate, milk chocolate. Oh, yeah, and it has a super secret recipe nobody can use and nobody knows. Yeah.
So this one?
This one is with the nougat.
A lot of nougat.
Yeah. That one
that's really good. We need to get this over here.
I should send you, the milk bar I'm talking about. Damn, I don't have it here. I would show you, the package.
I'll try to find it. That's super good.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
So that's something you should always bring from here.
Yeah,
you should bring Fazer. Yeah. And then the Finnish design is something like people are talking about a lot. And there's this Marimekko and Iittala. The cups, which I'm also having. This is Iittala.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's something which people bring away from here. And also the Moomin mugs. It's the same company which does them. Maybe you've seen them as well.
I've seen them. So that's a nice gift to bring back.
Yes, definitely.
Now I hear another, I'm a little bit scared of this one. I hear another popular one.
Yes. We say it's a liitu.
What does it actually mean? Because it looks like chalk.
Yeah, that is the actual name. It's chalk. It's liitu. It's something you write on the board with. So it has a minty taste, and inside it has salmia, or in Finland we say salmiakki. But I think it's actually, originally it's from Denmark, this candy. But it's really popular in northern countries. Just try it.
Oh, it's crunchy.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like licorice, but this is actually really good.
Oh my. Wow. That's usually the one which everybody hates, when they come to Finland. I always
a different center to it. And it's salty.
It's the white center. Yes.
It's not. And then the mint on the outside. Actually, this is really good.
Yeah. I
can see why
like
people like it.
Yeah. And you know what? They actually make a shot of it, like the similar, like with the salmiakki.
Oh, no.
We have the salmiak shot. It's a
No
black
chance.
one. Are you sure?
That's too much like sambuca. No chance. But the
No.
snack is good. It is more flavorsome. It's more, it's not sweet. So I actually quite like it.
Yeah. Okay, good that you liked it.
And
There's
then,
also like a separated one, the ones without the mint, just the licorice. Like,
yeah, I see. I think the mint, because it makes it like weirdly refreshing. It's a good balance.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do without the mint.
Well, then I understand why you liked it, because I think like separately you maybe wouldn't have liked it.
I'm not sure because it's not as
You're
licoricey
making
as
it
I
easier
thought.
for you.
Yeah, I'll have to. I would try it though. I do like
Yes.
the addition of the salt. It makes it, I don't know, easier to eat, but it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one's common, but I got reindeer and elk jerky.
Yeah.
Is this something you would take on a trail?
Yeah, that's exactly something you would take on the trail. But when you're in Lapland, just take the actual, like, you know, the meat from the farm and make it on the fire. That would be like, you know, more authentic. But the jerky is always good.
How
And
do
the
you
meat itself
season
is
it?
really...
Do you season it before putting it on, or?
Actually, once I've been there, like I visited my friends in Lapland, and he has a travel company. And I actually joined one of those tours, and they were making that meat. So they're having like a small pieces of that meat, putting them on the sticks, and then putting them, not seasoning or anything. I think we just like eat it there.
Probably so flavorsome, it's okay.
It
Wow,
was so good.
This has a strong smell, but a good one. It just looks like normal jerky. Nah, it's good. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to vegans, but this is good.
Yeah, the meat is really good from the reindeers. It's just very tender, really soft.
Yeah, it's actually really soft. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have that later.
Yeah, that's
now,
good.
there's one more I wanted you to explain. Cloudberry Jam. What is a cloudberry?
You have never heard about it?
No, we definitely don't have this here.
Yeah, it actually grows on the swamps or in swamp areas.
Okay,
it's like orange berry. You can see the
Yeah.
picture actually on the jam thing.
Oh,
It looks
they look like
that
little
for berries.
raspberries.
Yes, they're like raspberry lookalikes, and they're quite orange yellow. And you can find them, I think it's on the northern parts in the swamp areas. And
How
the
do you
people
pick
are
them?
allowed. Just going to the swamp and picking them. I think everybody can do that. It's kind of a good thing about Finland. You can go to the forest and pick up the berries yourself. The berries and the shrooms.
Oh, it's well, I mean, assume with the that's actually, that would be good either. Well, how are you supposed to eat it actually?
Yeah, it is really normal to make it to the jam, and the best way, or like the most usual way, is to use it with the squeaky cheese. And the squeaky cheese you have to put to the oven and actually have it really warm, and then eat it with the cloudberry jam. It's like really squeaky, and it's just like...
And is that the cheese on its own, or like on some toast or something, or just grilled cheese?
No, cheese on its own. Grilled cheese.
I like the
like
sound of this.
Cheese. It's super good. Yeah, it's like really popular dessert to have it as dessert.
What's the name of the cheese, or are there just a whole bunch?
It's a squeaky cheese. It's leipäjuusto.
Okay, whatever she said, that one.
It's like white, and it has the white, like these black dots on it. It's full of like black dots.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try to source it. This is really good. I like it. It's not too tart and it's not too sweet. It's like just a nice, nice flavor.
Balanced.
That's it, balanced. Okay, enough of the snacks. What is there anything else that you could think of that maybe in terms of cuisine that people should look out for?
For some restaurants, do you mean like a fine dining or something specific you would like as an experience to have?
Well, what are the options? Are there good street food? I'm all up for street food. But then, if there is more of a sit-down type of meal that people should look for, what's the cuisine they should expect?
Okay, I'm thinking there's like a few areas of kind of like a meat districts, which have like really cool places for the summertime to eat. One of them is Teurastamo, It's quite in the center area, and there's a lot of like small restaurants there, and also like the ice cream spots. That is a proper street food place, which I would recommend. The other places, I'm trying to think where I would go. There's like Eira area where also the Lulu I mentioned before is. There's a lot of like places on that area. There's a really good, like a big park in there, and there's a lot of smaller restaurants on the, it's like really in the center. You have to walk for 1 kilometer on direction. It's like really close to the water the whole time. I live really close by, and I go there like every weekend just to take a long walks, and there's a lot of places just to have the coffee and, you know, enjoy the view and have something to eat. That's a really nice place.
Is it all very walkable if you visit Helsinki? Like you can just walk around everywhere?
Really walkable, and you can also have like the trams. The trams are really like going in anywhere. Also, we have the Tier and the Voice, you know, the scooters. That's like a good way to travel as well here. And then we have the city bicycles, which you can rent and then just go around the city. There's a really good route to actually go by the bicycles.
Is a lot of it used with your phone, so app, or do you recommend people? Okay, so you don't need cash.
Yeah, usually the app. That's the easiest thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are like a lot of good places to go, like for the day trips, which are close to Helsinki. Usually the buses are going there. There's a like complete route going to those places. And I would mention Porvoo. It's an old city close to Helsinki, like maybe 1 hour drive by bus. That's an old city. There's a really nice area, like the old city area, where there's a church and there's such a good restaurants close by there. I would recommend Porvoo. And if you want to see more of the nature, the most popular place to go to the big kind of a forest would be Nuuksio, which has a lot of trails depending on how long do you want to walk. And that is also around 40 minutes from the Helsinki city center. A lot of tourists are doing those like as a day trips. If they don't want to go anywhere else, like further away. And there's also the area of Fiskars, which is kind of in the East Finland, and it takes slightly more time. I think it's like 1 hour and a half. And if you know the scissors, the Fiskars scissors, yeah, that is an actual place where the company was founded. So there's a Fiskars village, which has a lot of restaurants close by, a lot of like small boutiques, and they have the Fiskars, you know, shop where you can buy some, you know, merchandise from there. So those are like themed. Yeah. So these places came to my mind, like not in Helsinki, but further away, but still like worth doing as a day trip.
Yeah. Is that, I mean, did you grow up in Helsinki or did you move from somewhere else?
I was actually born in the central Finland, in Kuopio.
Okay, what's that like?
Lake Finland area. Yeah, and when I was 3 years old, we actually moved here to the Helsinki area with the parents. So yeah, I've been living here most of the time.
Nice. You're enjoying it then?
Yeah, I am. And at the moment, I can't actually go anywhere as well.
Well, luckily there's a lot for you to explore, even locally. What about, so you mentioned earlier that there's a lot of the festivals, obviously when things are back to normal, etc. What kind of festivals are there in case people want to specifically travel for that?
Okay, there's like 2 of my favorite ones. It's the Sideways and Flow Festival. The Sideways is quite new, but the Flow Festival has been there for a long time. And that's like one of the most fun experiences I've ever been to. That's the first time actually last year when I joined there or went there. It's super nice. It's 3 days and the food there is amazing what they're offering. They are like choosing the best kind of restaurants and they're having their spots in there. So it's really, really good. The music they choose is, yeah, it's every year it's really good. And the Sideways is kind of a little sister of Flow. It's before Flow Festival.
Yeah.
And for example, a few years back, Sia was there. So, yeah,
nice.
and they're really like, you know, urban festivals. And the thing is, the people tend to put really nice clothes when they go to Flow Festival. It's known for that people are really like thinking what they're gonna wear. So for 3 days, I had like, you know, the clothes ready for each day.
Is it more of a festival that you go to but stay maybe in a hotel or elsewhere and just go for the events, or do you camp or stay on site?
Actually, you can stay like in the Helsinki city center. It's a walkable distance to the festival area. It's just in the center, and that's why usually the city is like full when the Flow Festival is happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, that was like the best from the summer. I don't mean like with the clothes you have to be really fancy, but people are like wearing really, imaginable things, or how do you say, like really.
It's probably
They
more
use
into
their
the costume
imagination
side.
maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, like
Creative.
Coachella or somewhere. Yeah.
Ah,
So it's
nice. I like that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and it has really international vibes, and I think there's like a lot of like international guests as well.
Hmm. Well, yeah, I think the more that people know about it, especially these days, then hopefully the more people can experience it too. I want to go to one of these now. I haven't even thought about that sort of thing for so long. Oh my God.
Yeah. We haven't thought about like big parties or festivals. It just like feels like it was a while ago, like a long time ago.
For the nightlife, normally, is it a big party town?
I think there's like a certain places people like to party. There are like really cool bars, but the club scene is not that wild here, I would say.
Okay.
It's still quite, there's few places which I would mention. Karaoke bars are really popular in Finland. People tend to drink and sing.
God.
That's a really Finnish thing to do, the karaoke. So
okay, there's a lot of people that enjoy it, so that's good for them.
Yeah, but there's like few places I could mention. For the karaoke, that would be Erottaja. That's a really old place, and it looks kind of like cranky from the outside, but it's filled up every day. Like on the weekdays, it's usually like full with the people. I don't know where, like, how.
Probably the same
every
people
day there's
just
like
going.
Yeah, but it's just in the center, of course. The location is really good, but it's every day it's full of people. But it doesn't look good, like from the outside, or not the inside as well. But it's popular for some reason.
The atmosphere. What about anything that actually is so maybe typically tourist that people do come to Finland for? What are the top attractions that you'd recommend to definitely not skip?
For summer or for the winter time?
Either.
Okay. The midsummer in the Lake Finland or the southern Finland, somewhere in the cottage. You actually have to rent some kind of a cottage to experience the full experience.
Okay.
That's one thing. Yeah, you have to see the water, you have to see the nature, and you have to, experience when the day actually doesn't end. That's something, a really good experience. In the wintertime, I would say Lapland. Just, do the tourist things because they're worth it. The nature itself is worth it, as I mentioned.
Is the Santa village like a whole separate thing that people do?
Yeah, there's like a North Pole, and it's actual, you see it on the ground. There's like a North Pole thing. Like now you are on the North Pole, and people are like one tourist trap I forgot to mention. When you go to the Santa village and you want to see the Santa, it's okay. You can see the Santa. It's already like, how you have to pay money, of course, to see him, to see the Santa. But when you want to take a picture on his lap, I must say, for me, it feels like a ripoff, because I think it's like 50 euros for a picture. And I think you're not allowed to take it with your mobile phone. So I think, if you really, really need that picture, then I understand. But I think it's a touristic thing. For somebody, it must be really important to get the picture.
Yeah, I would say if it's a child and you need to keep them from maybe freaking out, then I can understand. But otherwise, good to know. Avoid Santa.
For the Helsinki, it's all walkable here. So just take a long stroll around Helsinki and just try to find those places yourself. Just explore. That's the best way, to kind of surprise yourself, to find something new. Even I find some new spots every day, like when I take long walks. It's a really beautiful city.
And what about you personally? When things maybe get back to normal, hopefully sooner rather than later, where's your number one destination to go? What are you dreaming of?
Outside Finland or in Finland?
Oh, both actually. So in Finland and then maybe outside. Go crazy.
For me, I would actually go and see my cousins in Kuopio, in the central Finland. That's also a quite snowy place. It's really beautiful in there. So that is the next place I will go to. But outside of Finland, I was already dreaming about, trying to do something else as well. Yeah. Like my next destination, I would like to visit Iceland.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't been already.
Yeah, it's been on my list, for a long time. I was actually planning to do it this year, but for some reason it didn't happen.
Oh, there we
So,
go.
yeah, so let's see.
So is there anything else that you want to tell everybody about Finland, just to end on a nice final note?
I would say let Finland surprise you. As I mentioned, just come here with the open mind. You will love the people. They're really polite. We're always said that we have the best service you can have anywhere.
Nice.
That's something, yeah. And then in Finland, everything is like pure and simple and beautiful, as in the design and in clothes and everything.
Would they appreciate people trying to speak the language? Or what are some key words that you should probably know? Let me see if I can learn them.
They would appreciate you talking in Finnish. I would say the most important word is kiitos. It's thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Kiitos.
Kiitos. Got it.
And in Finland, there's a lot of ways to say hi. You can say hey, moi, heippa, moikka, and it all means the same.
Heippa. What's like
moikka.
the formal one if you're in like a more formal setting, and then what's super casual? Or does it matter?
It's the same. Actually, you can use them like in a formal setting or like in a normal day, like to a friend. Hey, moi. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to say hi in Finland.
Okay, that shows how friendly you are.
Yeah, Finnish people smile up and they're friendly. Yeah.
How do you order a drink or a beer? That's what everybody always wants to know. Or 2 drinks.
It's really short and sweet. Yksi olut, kiitos. Yksi olut, kiitos.
Oh, I'm assuming it's easy enough to get by with English, so as long as people are nice about it, then
yeah. And the Finnish people usually tend to speak quite good English because they start learning it at 3rd grade, and they play a lot. Finnish people play a lot of video games and watch the movies in English, so they learn it on the way, and that's why Finnish people usually speak quite good English. So you will do well with. You don't have to know Finnish.
I'll try. I'd still try.
Yeah, and it's really, really hard language to learn. Finnish is like one of the hardest ones to learn.
It's well, just the sounds. If you're not used to making the sounds, I think it's a struggle, but it's still worth making the effort.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. Been a lot of great insight. I'll try to summarize things that I could have so people have a bit more of a guide. But thank you so much for taking part. It's been good to chat to you. All right. Well, take it easy. I'll speak to you soon.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.